Hey guys, I wanted to show you phase one of some wiring I'm going to be cleaning up in the engine bay here. Phase one is going to be simple. I'm going to be taking the diagnostic terminal here and the boost sensor and all this wiring and run it through the firewall into the trunk here. I'm going to be putting a hole here and mounting the assembly inside here just to clean things up a little bit in the engine bay. Phase two will be cleaning up my wiring that hasn't changed for many years since I did my 3S GTE conversion from the 5S FE stock motor that was in it previously. And phase two is going to entail a few things. I'm thinking about moving this somewhere in the trunk, but these resistor packs tend to get hot, so I might put it further down. But anyway, that's getting ahead of myself. So here's some old stuff I had lying around from experimenting with one of my first MR2 swaps. So I figure I'm going to salvage this piece here, and that way I can route my wiring into the through the firewall into the trunk nicely. So I'll see you guys in a little bit. Alright, so I got this off the old harness, and looking at it, its diameter is about 2.2 inches, but I ended up getting this 2-inch bit here so that I can, hopefully it'll be a little snug. I don't know if this is a good decision or not, but I guess we're gonna find out. And yeah, let's go for it. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is give this drill bit a place to start. I'm gonna do that by using a big nail at about the center of where I want this to be. I've marked this off approximately and use a hammer and I've gone all the way through, so that's a surprisingly thin firewall there, but that's okay because it'll still serve my purposes. Next, we've got this ready for action. All right, let's see if I can hurt myself. You know what? I'm not wearing safety goggles. Let's do that. Be safe. Wear these, kids. All right. Let's see what we can do. Let's do some damage. Well, damn. There you have it. There's a hole there now. Okay, I've gone ahead and sanded down the hole and test fitted this piece here, and it fits perfectly. So I made the right choice of going with the 2-inch. Pretty nice. It looks just like the other side now. So that's pretty cool. I'm pleased with that. Okay, so now what's left, I've got the hole there. I need to disassemble this piece here, and something I did with this swap originally, and I did it pretty neatly, is I ran a wire from my intercooler fan over here to the fuse box, and I'm not sure why I did that originally, other than the fact that I could tap power pretty easily that way. I think instead I'm going to be either tapping power with an inline fuse somewhere on this side, if I can find some power, or I can always now run this instead of the length of the firewall here into the back and along the back into the fuse box. I don't think that's going to be necessary. I think I can find power over here somewhere. So anyway, I'm going to work on disassembling this piece and see if we can start tidying things up. Okay, so I've unbolted the assembly from the firewall and started to disconnect the harnesses. These things can kind of be a pain in the butt, but just get some needle nose pliers and you can usually pop the loom off of the bracket. This one looks like it's been removed before. Okay, there you go. So that actually, I think I'm going to be able to repurpose the bracket inside, as long as I fold up this tab. This is like a stabilizing tab right here that goes sort of on top of the firewall here. I think I can bend that up and maybe mount this inside for a nice stock look. We'll have to see how that goes, but I think I might have to do some cutting and splicing here. This is going to fit through my 2-inch hole, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that gasket around it. So let's see. All right, so I decided to go ahead and cheat on this. If you look here, I would have had a lot of splicing to do. There are, gosh, I don't know how many pins on here. A lot of pins there. This one I could have squeezed through, but there's just a lot of stuff to pull through the firewall and redo. So I decided to cheat. I normally don't like to do that. If you were doing something similar, you wouldn't have to do this, but I went ahead and and cheated. The way I did this, by the way, this was one of these. Just that way you get a nice straight edge on it and it's not all janky looking. So anyway, that's the progress. I'll check in with you here a little later. Alright, so it's looking pretty good. All I'm working on now is wiring in my inline fuse. This is for my intercooler fan. So that's going to come in, and then I found power over here in this harness. That again I need to clean up later, but I'm going to tap power here. So I'll get to soldering that in and check in with you again later. Alright, so here it is, the end result. Nice and clean looking. I mean, it's dirty in there. I need to wash it now that you can see more. Phase 1 is pretty much complete. Here's what it looks like in the trunk. I cleaned it up as best I could. Still some remnants. I'll vacuum that out later. And then I'll get a cover on this wire eventually. And this goes to phase 2. This is where I ended up finding some power for my fan. And yeah, that's the ugly phase 2. I'll get into another video later, so subscribe so you can check out my future videos. I guess there's only one last thing to do, and that's to make sure that the car still runs, I guess. Let's see here. Let's get that into neutral. And all right, great success. See you next time.